I was gonna say, I think if anything, it really took at the time when computers and electronics were being invented and rapidly growing. It took technology and introduced people to the new sounds that they would never have heard. Yeah, there will always be of Kraftwerk, but and a Tangerine Dream perhaps before that. But in the massive thing, I think for most people, the actual sounds, these non-organic sounds. I mean, there's always been angry, pissed off rock and roll too, but industrial took it in a way and packaged it in a sound that no one had ever heard before and had a hard time identifying. And it was challenging at first, but now, like I said, like every song we hear on radio has some sort of weird distortion or beat or loop or sound or style. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, man, you can play Nine Inch Nails songs on an acoustic guitar and they're still just going to be good, well-written pop rock songs. Dark, but so was Nirvana stuff was dark. And you can play that on an acoustic guitar too. But, taking all this technology and putting it in a framework that people could emotionally relate to, and today, even though the technology's gone a long way, I don't think a lot of people emotionally relate to much music out there at all anymore, because it's also corporatized, trying to sell it to the Disney Hannah Montana crowd or whatever it is they're going for, whatever American Idol winner is, like that. Well, there's this year, type of thing, but there's no emotional content to that at all, no matter how good these kids can sing, and a lot of them can sing really well. I will admit that, but there's just this framework of sound that introduced people and trained people for generations now to like be able to listen to stuff in a different way. And I think that's probably the most important thing, because styles of music are always going to change. But I think training people, like that was the first time people really were shocked by sounds that they've never really heard before, and were forced, because the songs were also popular, were forced to have to learn it. Like had to train their ears to learn it, because Closer wasn't going to go away. It was going to be on the radio every hour on every rock station, alternative rock station in America for several months. So you better just figure out how to understand the music. You know what I mean? And it did. And so I think if anything, that's what I would hope happened anyway. I mean, I think they will always be like them, and Marilyn Manson will probably always be like the two ones that people will always throw. 50 years from now, when people are doing retrospectives of stuff, those will be the two names I think that will always still be remembered. I think more than any others. But it always takes out one band, like we talked about earlier. There's a bunch of bands doing some really innovative work that just never really broke through the public psyche, if you will, or whatever. Nails happen to be the band in that genre that broke it through, and so they will always be associated with that, maybe more than any other, just because of that, and that man again, Manson, because he's just such a large personality on his own and has been such a lightning rod for so many political and moral debates in America, and just, but he's also been smart enough to, because he is smart to discuss it openly in an open forum sort of context within music, and then his own interviews and his press and things, and the Columbine interview he did for the movie for Michael Moore and things like that, where it's like, okay, So I think those two more than anything will probably be the two that stand out, But hopefully, interviews like this will always let people know. Like I have no bigger thrill than turning someone on to Skinny Puppy's whole old material who don't know it, who are too young today to have really like known about some of that stuff. So it's up for the people to keep the roots of, no matter who's known for it. Like you got to keep the roots known forever.